to another week of Financial Friday, where money moves fast and occasionally trips over itself. Every Friday, we break down the biggest financial news. We've got tariffs, gold shortages, crypto regulations, and even some juicy government financial moves. So grab your coffee or something with a little bit more of a kick, and let's turn finance from a snooze feast into something actually worth listening to. So let's deep dive. President Trump's recent announcement of 25% tariffs on 65% of US silver imports from Mexico and Canada has certainly stirred up the precious metals market. This move is expected to significantly reduce the flow of physical silver into the US, which could drive up prices. As for Trump assuring $600 an ounce of silver, it's a bold prediction that has caught up the attention of many investors and analysts. While it's hard to predict exact prices, the tariffs could indeed create upward pressure on silver prices due to reduced supply and increased demands. Gold has recently hit a new all-time high. Prices surged to around $2,880 per ounce due to a combination of factors, including geopolitical uncertainties and trade tensions between the US and China. Investors often turn to gold as a safe haven asset during times of economic and political instability. Gold is flowing into the United States, leading to a shortage in London and a 4 to 6 week delivery, reported from the Gold Telegraph. Now let's just go back into the past. In 1933, the US adjusted the value of gold to ease its debt burden, effectively devaluing the dollar by 69% relative to gold. This move came as the country was recovering from the Great Depression, using inflation to reduce the real weight of its debt. Now, with US debt exceeding $38 trillion, history suggests that some form of monetary reform is unavoidable. Even the Federal Reserve acknowledges that the current debt trajectory is fiscally unsustainable. In my opinion, the first step towards addressing this issue is the creation of Department of Government Efficiency. And has Elon Musk been busy deep diving into, let's say, the paper trail of corruption? Do you think any arrests will happen because of this? As also, word on the street is Trump just signed an executive order for the death penalty for treason in the US government. Let's see how this one plays out. I need front row tickets. Meanwhile, the US President Trump has announced plans to establish a sovereign wealth fund. Now, what is this? A sovereign wealth fund is a financial tool that helps provide the necessary funds to support the value of currency worldwide. Establishing such a fund can influence exchange rates by allowing a country to invest in multiple currencies and convert its own currency when needed, which can contribute to economic stability. Countries that already have sovereign wealth funds, for example, Vietnam created its fund in 2005, and Iraq has recently begun discussions to establish one. These funds diversify a country's reserves, much like a national savings account, enabling governments to manage their economies effectively. In the United States, the central bank holds multiple foreign currencies in reserve, contributing to the nation's sovereign wealth fund. If the Iraqi dinar is included in this fund, it could impact the currency's value and stability. Are you listening? It could impact the currency value and stability. The sovereign wealth funds also allow governments to stabilize the economies during financial crisis. By holding reserves in multiple foreign currencies, these funds provide large pools of capital that can be invested in emerging markets, economies that are still developing and strengthening. This approach fosters economic growth and financial stability on a global scale. Sovereign wealth funds are state-owned investments, meaning they belong to the nation as a whole rather than individual states or private entities. These funds hold various assets, including foreign currencies, gold, bonds, and commodities, to empower national economies and benefit citizens. The establishment of sovereign wealth funds signals significant economic changes within the global banking system, including shifts towards digital asset banking. These funds act as a massive pool of capital, allowing nations to exchange currencies, invest internationally, and stabilize their financial systems. They enable countries to diversify their reserves, ensuring economic resilience in an increasingly interconnected world. The White House says more than 20,000 federal workers have taken buyouts, and they expect a spike in the coming days. The White House aims for 5 to 10% of federal employees to accept buyouts. But so far, numbers remain lower than expected. Officials anticipate a last-minute surge before February the 6th deadline. More than 20,000 workers have already accepted, though the actual figure is disputed. Critics warn employees not to trust the offer. While Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency promotes its benefits, the government is pushing hard, even suggesting employees use a severance period for travel or private sector jobs. RFK Jr.'s Senate nomination sends big pharma stocks crashing. After RFK Jr.'s nomination advanced in the Senate, Pfizer and Moderna's stock prices tanked. Why? RFK Jr. is a well-known critic of big pharma, and his policies could shake up the industry. My opinion, if he gains more influence, expect massive shifts in the healthcare policy and even bigger stock market drama. Now, let's speak about XRP. I've been sitting on the edge of my seat all of this week, waiting for it to go up, up, up. And obviously, while it's on the low, I've been buying. Now, America's first ever crypto Caesar just held his first press conference and said they're going to create a golden age for digital assets in America. However, the most interesting is not what was said, but who was in the room. Here's what most people missed. David Sachs believed crypto could actually reinforce the US dollar as the global reserve currency. How? He explained that crypto has the potential to generate trillions in demand for US treasuries, helping to lower interest rates and stimulate the economy. Blockchain technology could distribute US dollars to people worldwide, expanding its reach. The second key policy, clearer regulations for entrepreneurs. Sachs argued that the previous administration unfairly targeted crypto entrepreneurs. Given his background in the PayPal mafia, it's clear that he wants to support innovators in the space. The most significant part of this press conference wasn't just the policies, it was the people in the room. A large number of congressmen present had backgrounds in agricultural and commodities rather than financial regulators from agencies like the SEC. Why does this matter? The crypto industry has long pushed for oversight by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, instead of the SEC. Why? Because the CFTC primarily focuses on investor protection while allowing more flexibility for innovation. In contrast, the SEC imposes stricter regulations that could slow down progress. The future of crypto regulation, if the CFTC takes the lead, entrepreneurs will have more room to develop groundbreaking technologies, making financial systems more accessible to everyone. Tokenization is set to transform the financial world. If you think crypto is big now, you haven't seen anything yet. In other news, the USA has already chosen RLUSD, which means XRP as its reserve asset will naturally be part of the US Strategic Reserve too. Moving on, the Federal Reserve just announced that starting March the 11th, banks will no longer be able to lend out US dollars like they used to. This means higher borrowing costs for banks, aka higher interest rates. Tighter lending restrictions means fewer loans for businesses and consumers, potentially economic slowdown if credit dries up. In short, if you are thinking of taking out a loan, you might want to do it now before the rates spike. My opinion, this is either a brilliant move to stabilize the system or a ticking time bomb for an economic slowdown. Either way, buckle up. Now, going around the world to Vietnam. If SBI Bank in Vietnam begins utilizing XRP for cross-border payments, the demand for XRP could rise, potentially increasing its value. This effect could be amplified if other Vietnamese banks adopt XRP, enabling faster and more cost-efficient international transactions. Just a thought, maybe the RV is crypto. Key considerations: XRP's role. XRP is designed as a bridge currency, streamlining international transfers by reducing costs and transaction times between different fiat currencies. SBI's influence as a major Japanese financial institution. SBI Holdings strongly supports XRP and has already integrated it into remittance services, particularly in Southeast Asia, including Vietnam. Potential market impact: wider adoption of the XRP by Vietnamese banks could boost demand for the Vietnamese dong, which may in turn influence its value. But just to make clear, the RV is not happening this week. And did you know in the future we're using Starlink for free global payments thanks to the XRPL? Seriously? Anyone with a phone can send any currency anywhere. It's wild. And Elon Musk supports putting US Treasury transactions on a blockchain for full transparency. UK, you better catch up. And turning to the UK, the government will not boost economic growth until mental health crisis is tackled. Well, UK government, did you not think we might have mental health because of the way the economy is in the country? So maybe sort that out first and we can sort out our own mental health. But going back to that, the UK's economy won't reach its full potential unless the government tackles the youth mental health crisis, which is costing over £1 trillion in lost earnings. Experts do warn. Mental health organisations are urging ministers to stop downplaying the issue and invest in real solutions. With 1 in 5 young people experiencing anxiety or depression, delays in support are piling pressure on emergency services and schools. I'm not being funny, but the whole system is absolutely shit. Not being funny, there's no money. You've bled this country dry. Trump, the UK needs you and needs you yesterday. The Gold Telegraph has reported very strange things are happening at the Bank of England. They hold over 450 billion worth of gold at a current price, primarily for the central banks. There are weeks-long queues to withdraw bullion from its vault and now is trading at a discount versus wider markets. And speaking of banks, Barclays Bank experienced some technical issues over the weekend. Starting Friday, January the 31st, the banking system went down due to a technical glitch while they were testing the new financial system. This caused disruptions to their online banking account balances and fund transfer services. Barclays has since resolved the issue and all services are now back to normal. They apologised for the inconvenience and assured customers that their money is safe. They also advised customers to stay vigilant as fraudsters often take advantage of such situations to send phishing messages. And what they also did was is tell people to go to a food bank if they needed food because they couldn't draw their money out. Well done, Barclays. Moving to Iraq. Iraq's finance minister just met with the US Embassy to discuss financial stability and economic reforms. Translation: Iraq wants to strengthen its currency, attract investment, and make sure its economy doesn't implode. The US is on board, likely because of oil and regional influence. My opinion, a stronger Iraqi dinar could be a game changer, but political instability remains a major hurdle. Let's see if this actually leads to a long-term reform. Iraq's banking reforms are a key component of the government's broader economic reform strategy. Objective of banking reforms: enhancing bank performance. The CBI is focusing on improving banks' efficiency, including better management of environmental and social risks. Strengthening compliance. Efforts are underway to align Iraq's banking sector with the international regulations and global standards. Encouraging digital payments. The government is promoting electronic payment adoption through incentive programs. They're expanding credit access. Reforms aiming to modernize the banking sector and merge smaller private banks to improve lending opportunities. Financing development projects. The banking system is being strengthened to provide greater support for development initiatives and combating financial crimes. The CBI is intensifying efforts to prevent money laundering by establishing compliance offices and enforcing AML CFT measures. These reforms are designed to boost economic growth and expand credit access and support national development efforts. And exciting news: in Iraq is set to launch its first ever cross-border transport operation under the International Road Transport System, marking a major milestone in trade modernisation. The International Road Transport Union, IRU, visited last week to lay the groundwork, holding key discussions with public and private sector leaders. A workshop emphasised the importance of UN trade agreements in streamlining customs, boosting security and reducing road accidents. This historic move will strengthen Iraq's integration into global trade networks, enhancing efficiency and economic growth. In the Kurdistan regions, Finance Minister Awad Shakil Janab recently announced a landmark agreement between Baghdad and Erbil that resolves long-standing financial disputes. This agreement ensures timely payment for public employees in the Kurdish region, which is a significant step forward after years of inconsistent salary payments. It's a relief for many civil servants who have been struggling with unpaid salaries. The agreement also includes the resumption of Kurdish oil exports, which is expected to boost Iraq's income and, in turn, increase the budget allocated to the Kurdistan region. It's definitely a positive development for the region. What are your thoughts on this agreement? And what an incredible week. We're seeing major shifts in global finance, crypto, banking, and international trade. Tariffs are back. Gold is moving into the US. Crypto is being redefined. Banks are tightening lending. Regulators are scrambling to keep up. The next few months are going to be wild. Stay tuned, stay informed, and don't let your wallet take too many hits. And if you want more deep dives into gold, silver, and finance, check out The Gold Show with myself, Paul Brooker, and the Gold Buster Boys, Adam and James. And if crypto's your thing, don't miss XRP Boys with Paul Brooker and Zach Surfos. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next week. Stay smart, stay skeptical, and just remember, money never sleeps, but it definitely takes naps. So have a great weekend and bye-bye.